Starting off this countdown, we have the Selma Mansion. This 20-room mansion was constructed back in 1902 and was known for hosting extravagant balls and dinner parties. Now it's known for being home to multiple ghosts. The home was originally owned by a man named Elijah Brokenborough. Honestly, that sounds like a name of someone who would own a mansion. Elijah Brokenborough. He then gave the property to his daughter, who lived in the mansion until she died in 1970. Then the house kept getting passed around until it was abandoned in the early 2000s. Now the home has been ransacked. The windows are all broken, the inside is vandalized, but be careful if you do dare to trespass. You may come in contact with a couple of ghosts who are said to roam the rooms and corridors at night. In our 9th spot, we have the Hot Mansion. Much about the history of this house remains a secret. However, it's rumored that the home was a brothel back in the 1940s. Years later, a number of dead bodies were found in the mansion's basement. The torsos and chests of the victims had perfect round circles on them. However, we don't really know if that is the truth. Other people claim that a man named Henry Glover owned the house back in 1892. However, he died in the house the morning after just moving in. To this day, it remains a very mysterious and creepy house. Moving on, at number 8, we have the Temple Street Mansion. Located in East Cleveland, this mansion, located on Temple Street, is the home to numerous tragedies. In 1942, it said that 3 priests were found murdered in the mansion. Then in 2013, the mansion was the dumping ground of a serial killer. 3 women were found dead in the house, wrapped in plastic bags. Now it's said that it's haunted by several spirits. In fact, neighbors from across the street have seen and heard paranormal activity coming from the house. In our 7th spot, we have the Mudhouse Mansion. Located in Fairfield County, Ohio, this mansion remains a huge mystery. Not a lot of people know the history of this house. It's thought that it was built in the 1840s, 50s, 70s, or the 1900s. No one truly knows. Because of the lack of history surrounding this mansion, people have made up their own. Legend goes that this was the original home of Bloody Mary, who still haunts the place. Whereas others believe that government officials used the house to hide captives after the Civil War. But apparently, one managed to escape and murdered the official and his family. The house was demolished in 2015 after not being occupied since the 1930s. Making our way down the list, number 6, we have the John List House. This 19-room mansion located in New Jersey is another mansion filled with tragedies. In November of 1971, the owner, John List, killed his entire family. He then gathered all of their bodies, except his mother's, and lined them up in the ballroom. He turned on the radio to a religious station, turned on all the lights, cut his face out from the family photos, and then fled. The bodies weren't discovered until a month later, after friends and family were wondering where they were. As for John List, well, he fled to Denver and changed his name. However, he was caught and arrested in 1989. But he never admitted to the crimes. The home remained abandoned for years until an arsonist burnt it down in 1974. As a result, a new identical mansion was built in the exact spot. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Ohio Mystery Mansion. Unlike the other mansions, this home's identity was never mentioned. It was explored by the well-known American photographer Seth Lawless. He claims that when he entered the mansion, he saw eerie, fresh footprints leading into the house. Not only that, but the bathroom in the house had blood on the walls. In the bathtub, he found a dead dog. He also heard scratching noises and strange whispers coming from one of the rooms. To make things worse, in one of the rooms there was a display of mannequin heads and metal tools. That's weird interior decorating. The neighbor claims to hear noises coming from the house all the time. But honestly, I just wish we knew more about this house and its history. Coming in at number 4, we have Villa de Vecchi. Another creepy mansion with an even creepier backstory. The Villa de Vecchi in Italy, owned by Count Felix de Vecchi, was commissioned to be built in the 19th century. However, the architect died a year before he completed the project, which put a supposed curse on the property. Shortly after the family moved in, Count Felix discovered that his wife had been murdered. As a result, he ended up taking his own life. The villa was then passed to his brother, who lived there until World War II. It's been vacant since 1960. The spookiest part? In 2002, an avalanche wiped out all the houses in the area, except this one. Moving on at number 3, we have the Halcyon Hall. Sorry, Halcyon Hall. Located in Millbrook, New York, the mansion was first built as a hotel in the 1890s. From there, it was transformed into an all-girls school before being shut down in 1978. Now, this mansion is said to be home to multiple ghosts. Once, a carpenter working there said they heard moans and cries coming from the basement. Other people said a ghost of a woman would visit them in their sleep. The 1960s was when the most paranormal activity happened. Objects would disappear only to reappear later on, or would move on their own. Residents would also often see a bald, chubby man in a brown suit wandering around and sitting in their chairs. In our second spot, we have the Liu family mansion. Located in Taiwan, the Liu family mansion was built in 1929 for a businessman and his family of 8. However, in the 1950s, the family abruptly fled from their home. The reason for leaving was unclear. However, some think it's because the house is haunted. Apparently, back in the day, the mansion's maid fell in love with the rich owner. They were having an affair, and when the secret got out, she drowned herself in the well. Now it's said that bad luck will follow any of the new residents of the house. Whereas other people think that the property is haunted by Japanese soldiers who died in battles on the grounds. And in our number 1 spot, we have the Franklin Castle. The Franklin Castle, otherwise known as the Tiedemann House, is a mansion located in Cleveland, Ohio. Built between 1881 to 1883, this mansion was first home to Hans Tiedemann, his wife, and kids. This mansion has 4 stories, more than 20 rooms, and 80 windows. That just called me broke. However, this mansion is said to be one of the most haunted houses in the US. Apparently, a bunch of murders have occurred in this house. Slowly, Tiedemann's family started to pass away, and people thought that he was behind their death. In 1968, the mansion was sold to James Romano and his family. That's when the hauntings began. The Romano family reported several encounters with ghosts. They even attempted exorcisms and had a ghost hunting group investigate the property. In 1975, human bones were found in the closet. It's thought that maybe they were planted there as a publicity stunt, but we still don't know. One thing that's for sure is that this house is certainly haunted.
Coming in at number 10, we have Montclair House at 44 Pleasant Avenue, Montclair. An eye-catching 6-bedroom, 3,900 square feet house in New Jersey is located on 3 acres of land, is more than 100 years old, and preserved by the Historic Preservation Commission given its historic significance. And it's on the market right now. Well, yeah, we're already talking about that $10 house. This one's listed for $10, not including the land though. The land has been commissioned for the site of 8 houses to be built around the historic house. Thus, the buyer of this $10 mansion will have to agree to move the house at their own expense. So yeah, there's always a catch-22. And also there's a lot of renovations that's needed in this house. All that along with preserving the historic elements inside the house, but removing the toxic lead paint and also the asbestos by law. No wonder no one wants to inherit this mess on purpose. So yeah, not even $10 is worth it. You could even pay me $10 to deal with all of that. At number 9, located on a tree-lined dead-end street in Nyack, New York, One Lovetto Place is famous as its past celebrity owners, including director Adam Brooks, singer Ingrid Michaelson, and rapper Mattis Yahoo. The spacious home features 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, and its walking distance to downtown areas. The 1890 Queen Anne Victorian also boasts arched doorways, stained glass, and an in-ground saltwater pool, and views of the Hudson River for almost every room. So what seems to be the problem? Well, the home gained notoriety when the New York Supreme Court declared it legally haunted in 1991. Is this real life right now? I never knew a Supreme Court, like a judge, can deem a house legally haunted. Absolutely insane. The ruling was a result of the Zombovsky W. Ackley case, in which homebuyer Jeffrey Zombovsky sued seller Helen Ackley over not disclosing the haunting prior to the sale and fought sought to rescind his offer. Well, the court ruled in Sobofsky's favor, and the home made history. Absolutely insane. While there have not been any reported hauntings in recent years, perhaps you'll experience the paranormal activities the Aucklands publicly claimed to have had happened decades ago. Before selling the home, Helen and her family had reported multiple incidents of poltergeist from the Revolutionary War, shaking the bed, slamming doors, and leaving gifts. Okay, leaving gifts ain't the worst thing unless I don't know what the gifts are. Up next, number 8, in 1875, a wealthy chair manufacturer named Sylvester K. Pierce designed and built a magnificent Victorian home. This beautiful Massachusetts home boasts 10 beds, 2.5 baths, which is like a half a bathroom, so I think it's like no shower, 11-foot ceilings, marble fireplaces, and all original windows, doorknobs, hinges, and floors. So with all of those exquisite details, how could the owner possibly ask for just $329,000? That's roughly the same price as an average 3-bedroom home. So why is this beautiful mansion such a steal? Well, you guessed it, it's got a haunting history. Over the years, in the hands of many owners, 7 individual deaths have been documented in the house, including a strangled prostitute. The house experiences so much paranormal activities. It's actually been investigated by TV shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, My Ghost Story, and also in the show Top 10 Most Haunted Places in New England. So who is still roaming the halls of this gorgeous mansion? Well, some say they've seen figures of like a busy servant girl, others have seen a little boy who stares longingly out the front window, and to some they see a sad woman. I don't know about you guys, but ghosts are one thing, but creepy children ghosts, well, it's a hard no for me. Coming in hot at number 7 on this list, some homes aren't necessarily haunted like most on this list, but this next mansion just won't sell. 50 Cent, you know, the rapper 50 Cent, who has he been, where's he been these days? Is he still rapping, making music? I don't know where this guy is. Maybe he became $1. Well, he listed his 50,000 square foot home in Farmington, Connecticut for $18.5 million in 2015. In the fall of that year, he lowered his price from $18.5 million to $8.5 million. How do you slash a home by $10 million? Was it overpriced by $10 million? Or is he just taking a huge loss of $10 million? And this is after he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And then it didn't sell at that point, so he lowered it again, starting at $18.5 million to $5.995 million in 2016. And the same situation, it's still on the market. So if you guys are looking to buy a $6 million home owned by 50 Cent, it's available for you right now, but you gotta move to like Connecticut. This next home is totally over the top with 21 bedrooms, 25 bathrooms in case you never know at any moment when you gotta use the bathroom. And then there's like bam, 10 on the floor you're on. There's an indoor pool, a hot tub, a substantial nightclub, because why not make money in the place you live? Let's bring all these like crazies into your house and hookers, and let's just party it out. There's an indoor court so you can hoop. There's multiple game rooms, a green screen room for us, we can go filming. So all the things I'm naming right now is all in 50 Cent's house that just won't sell. Alright, let's move on from that. Number 6, which is bringing you similar fashion to number 7, former President Barack Obama. Hey, if Obama's selling his house, I want to buy it. I want to see what secret rooms he's got going on, especially because Trump is president. Obama probably has like a bunker underground, and just in case. You know, there was lots of tension between Trump and North Korea, and missiles and nuclear wars. So you know, when you're buying this house, you're also buying a hidden bunker. Well, former President Barack Obama and his family rented this sprawling 7,000 square foot mansion in Martha's Vineyard for an entire summer in 2013, but that seems not to have made the house any easier to sell. So the house listed it in 2015 for $22.5 million. Just 3 months later, the house had already chopped its price by 15%. They're pulling at 50 Cent in this one. So now the house on the market for $17.75 million. I mean, I get the hefty price tag, but who wouldn't want to live in a former president vacation home? And then imagine it's like 2 months out of the year you have to book a hotel because Obama needs your house. He's got to enjoy the summer. Next up, number 5, we got Mr. Kreischer's mansion. The magnificent Victorian mansion just outside of New York had a replica which was a stone's throws away. However, it was destroyed during the Great Depression. Generally, beautiful houses like this don't stay long in the market, but for this house, well, you guys know this list. this house is just not able to sell. It is said to be one of the most haunted places in the city. Firstly, Krishna's son committed suicide, which doesn't help the case of this house. There was rumors of voices, there's appearances, and other paranormal phenomenon took hold of them. Do you guys think that you can live there? If you were paid $1 million to live in the world's most haunted house, with the chance of you dying, would you guys do it? Number 4, we have Shrapey Mansion, Lake Forest, Illinois. This place-like mansion is spread over 21,000 square feet. I mean, I would get lost in that. You can put a corn maze inside of your house and still get lost. And even though this house has 12 bathrooms, I'd be too lost to even find one of them. There's 11 baths, 400 feet of beach, which is absolutely insane. So this house has hosted a number of royals and nobles, including the Duke of Windsor, in its 100-year-long existence. After being expensively and elaborately restored, this royal mansion was put on the market for 18 million USD American dollars, which is like $100 million Canadian, because yeah, your guys' dollar is a lot better than ours. But then after they had to slice the price, they slashed it in half, like a 50% discount. It's like going to your realtor and he gives you a 50% code to use on a freaking house. Well, this was actually over a period of 10 years. The house just kept getting reduced and reduced and reduced, but still no one wants to buy it. Proper real estate and consistent data are available mostly for the mansions in the US, and they are on the market too. Although there are plenty of haunted houses and places in European countries, most of them are still owned by royals or the government, and they're not for sale. Many of these houses in this list are open for viewing, as the realtors can't wait to sell these cursed but gorgeous rejects. And if you're a realtor, do you have to say someone died in this house, or can you kind of like... Okay, next, at number 3, we have this next scary mansion that no one wants to buy. We're talking about the Pillars Estate, Albion, located in New York. So a lot of these are in the States. Is there anything up here in Canada that's haunted that no one wants to buy, that's underpriced, that I might consider? Well, another historic mansion in New York. Well, this is 7,200 square feet. The Greek style house has 6 bedrooms, 3 baths, 5 fireplaces, because I guess the winters in New York is very cold, a parlor, a library, and even a ballroom. So you can have your own wedding in your own house in the ballroom. It is a classic specimen of a mansion, and yet it was put on sale for $1 million. Again, USD, so like 10 million Canadian. But all jokes aside, come 2017, the price fell to half of the original without any buyers, despite the expensive renovations that made it livable. The reason behind this cannot get any more classy, given its style. The owners and the workers claim to have seen or heard humans around this Victorian mansions. Yeah, they heard a lot of ghosts, particularly a child from a former lady of the house. Again, the child ghost things, yeah, from the words of Simon Cowell, it's a no for me. Number 2 on this list, Los Feliz Murder House. I mean, is that the advertisement? Hey, house on sale, $10 million, Los Feliz Murder House. Would you like to buy it, sir? Yeah, if the price is right. 15 million? You got it. On December 6, 1959, cardiologist Harold Perelson murdered his wife with a hammer, then killed himself in this beautiful Spanish rivalry home in Los Feliz, California. After the infamous murder-suicide, the home was sold but never lived in. In fact, the interior wasn't cleaned out for years following the incident, preserving that night in time and adding to the home creepy aesthetics. Trespassers in the past have reported finding old magazines and books, canned foods, and cleaning supplies. Rumor has it there was even unwrapped presents sitting under the Christmas tree standing in one of the rooms. And the moment you guys have all been waiting for, number 1 on this list, the Dakota New Yorkers. Well, they might recognize this Central Park apartment building's iconic mix of architectural styles, while Beatle fans recognize it because of its history. Not only was the house we're talking about right now was the residence of John Lennon and also Yoko Ono, it was also a place where Lennon was fatally shot by Mark David Chapman in 1980. Throughout the building existence, residents and staff have claimed to see the ghost of a little girl and a crying lady and Lennon himself. However, supposed hauntings and an alleged curse won't keep buyers away from the luxurious 9-room apartment for sale inside the building. The residence feature 9-foot ceilings, original moldings, and city views from floor to ceiling windows. You may also have a famous neighbor as well. Past residents include Judy Garland and Bono. Yoko Ono still lives in the Dakota today, but even if you love the apartment and can afford the $10 million price tag, well, there's one thing keeping you from moving in: the co-op board. Upon receiving your application and background check results, this group of people chooses whether you live in the Dakota or not, and they are apparently scarier than any spirit hauntings the building. The board has a history of being choosy and has rejected such celebrities like Madonna, Alex Rodriguez, Cher, and Billy Joel. And they'll probably reject me as well.
Starting off this countdown, we have Lucy Hale. Now, this pretty little liar has experienced numerous paranormal occurrences in her home. Although she claims that nothing big has occurred, it's the little unexplained events that freak her out. Lucy claims that one time at 1 a.m. her coffee maker turned on by itself. I mean, hey, maybe the ghost just wanted a cup of joe. She also says that doors close by themselves and her dog barks unexplainably at random things. She also says that something will continuously trigger her motion detector without there being anything in sight. So she is convinced that her house is haunted. Next up at number 9, we have Gigi Hadid. Now, this model has claimed that spooky things would happen in her childhood home. When she was younger, she lived in a really old house, and her room was in the attic. Apparently, Gigi would hear weird noises coming from her closet. Her dad said that there was once an old lady that lived in the house, so Gigi and her sister thought that they were communicating with this old lady. Then she also said that every year she would have the same reoccurring dream. The dream would take place in her house, but the lighting would be more dark and eerie and it would be covered in fog. Then she said that people in suits with weird shaped heads would walk down the stairs towards her. I think we need a dream expert to analyze this. In our 8th spot, we have the mansion. This next mansion was literally named The Mansion. How creative. And what's with celebrities naming their homes? Well, anyways, this home is owned by music producer Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin uses his home as a recording studio, and bands like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Linkin Park have recorded there. However, it is haunted. Hey, maybe the ghost just likes music. So, rumor has it that in 1918, one of the previous owners pushed his lover off of the balcony. Artists that have stayed over at the mansion have reported witnessing a bunch of scary activities. Some have seen orbs, others have seen doors opening and closing by themselves, and others have heard whispering in the walls. Dang, those ghosts are lucky. They get to hear songs before they're even released to the public. Coming in at number 7, we have the Pickfair Mansion. Back in the 1920s, Mary Pickford was a well-known silent film actress. Her and her husband Douglas Fairbanks were an iconic couple. Now, they purchased a 22-room mansion which they named the Pickfair. This mansion is currently on sale for $60 million. So, if you have that kind of money and don't mind rooming with a ghost, then this mansion is for you. So apparently a spirit of a servant roams this property. It has been reportedly seen on several occasions by different individuals. Now, in 1936, the couple divorced and Mary kept the estate and shared it with her new husband, Charles Rogers. When Mary passed away, Rogers was visited by a woman in a long white gown. He claimed that this was Mary herself visiting him. When the mansion was resold, the spirit sightings increased. People saw the woman in the white gown along with a male entity in the front hallway. They also would see an apparition of a figure holding sheet music. Now, this home was demolished and a new home was built on top. Since the demolition, the sightings have apparently stopped. Honestly, I'm sure there are some people that wouldn't mind having ghosts as roommates. They wouldn't eat your food and they wouldn't be too noisy. Up next at number 6, we have the Jenner Mansion. Apparently, Kendall Jenner is convinced that her mother's mansion is haunted. She explains that Kylie and herself would hear footsteps on the roof when no one was home. Honestly, it would not surprise me if it was just the paparazzi. She also claims that Kylie's shower would turn on by itself. Now, Kendall also admitted that her family would toy around with an Ouija board. One day, they got in contact with a spirit that answered all of their questions accurately. Although Chris does not believe this, Kendall is completely convinced a ghost lurks around her mother's house. Honestly, at least this ghost sounds harmless. From what I gathered, it likes to shower and be clean and likes to do a little tap dancing on the roof. Nothing to worry about. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Adele's mansion. Now, rumor has it, yes that's a pun, that Adele lived in a haunted house. The mansion was worth $11 million and was located in Sussex, England. Although Adele has not witnessed turning tables, she has witnessed other creepy occurrences. Adele said that she used to hear strange, unexplainable noises. She even said that objects around her house would fall down. As a result, she always felt uneasy and even hired a nighttime bodyguard and upped her security system. Now, Adele only lived there for 2 years before moving out. Before Adele lived there, it was a convent with its own chapel. If Adele lived there longer, maybe the ghost would have said hello from the other side. I don't apologize for all those Adele song puns. Comment down below if you caught them all. Up next at number 4 we have Matthew McConaughey. Alright, Matthew McConaughey. So during his interview with Jennifer Garner for the movie Ghost of Girlfriends Past, Matthew told the interviewer all about his haunted home. Now, Matthew claimed that his home was haunted by a woman named Madame Blue. He claims that she didn't seem like a happy or friendly spirit. But Matthew stood his ground and told her, "You can move around all you want, but I'm not going anywhere." Okay, he's pretty brave. Now, every time that Matthew had a guest over, they too would say that they thought they saw or felt this woman. Now, apparently one day Matthew heard a noise coming from a room and he went to investigate without any clothes on. Since that day, the ghost has made peace with Matthew and they get along. So maybe that's the new way to ward off ghosts. In our third spot, we have Allison Hannigan. This How I Met Your Mother star claims that her LA home is haunted by a male ghost. Her and her friends have both seen this ghost multiple times. The first instance was when Allison's friends saw the ghost and said, "I don't mean to alarm you, but I just saw a man follow us out of the house." I love how she said, "I don't mean to alarm you." Like, of course it's going to. But Allison believes that it is a pleasant ghost. She claims that it's not somebody that died in the home because there's a law in LA that when you buy a house, if somebody died, then they have to disclose that to you. Allison also shared that one night she saw the silhouette of the man standing in her bathroom doorway. She thought that it was her husband, but turns out he was asleep beside her. Allison is not afraid of this ghost at all. In fact, she really wants to learn its name. She has stated that she wants to put a chalkboard in the area that they see him the most to see if he'll write down his name. Sounds like a good plan, until he writes down something creepy. Coming in at number 2, we have the LaLaurie house. Now, this house was said to be owned by Madame LaLaurie. She tortured and murdered endless slaves in her mansion. It is said that one night a fire occurred in the mansion. When help arrived, they found several tortured individuals in her house. Madame fled and was never seen again. Now, this house was once owned by America's own national treasure, Nicolas Cage. He claimed that while others have a beachfront property, he has a ghost front property. Apparently, it is haunted by several of the tortured individuals that once lived there. But apparently Cage loved living there. He even said that one of his greatest memories from when he was a kid was from the haunted mansion at Anaheim in New Orleans Square. He then felt that living there was fulfilling his childhood fantasy. And in our number 1 spot, we have Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn is an American country music legend with multiple hit songs. Now, her mansion, located in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee, is said to be haunted by multiple ghosts. Now, Loretta herself has even claimed that she has some sort of psychic abilities and can see ghosts. So in her home, she has heard weird noises and has seen apparitions. Even her daughters have seen a ghost of a Confederate soldier in her home. After doing research, Lynn discovered that her home used to be the site of a Civil War battle. It is also said that 19 soldiers are buried on the grounds. Now, Lynn claims to have seen a young woman weeping on her property. She believes that this is the ghost of Beulah Anderson, who lost her baby. Now, to go even further, Lynn has even conducted seances in her home. One time, she got in contact with a spirit named Anderson. Anderson got angry and started shaking the table before it broke from being slammed to the floor. Apparently, James Anderson was one of the original owners of the home.